Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Kauai County Council Roundup here at the Ho'ike studio. We are going over Wednesday's agenda, August 14th. I'm Mel Rapozo, your council chair, and Vice Chair Kipukai Kualii.
Aloha.
Thank you for joining us. We had a relatively short agenda, and we started off with a bill for an ordinance regarding housing credits. Mr. Kualii is the Housing Committee Chair, so I'll turn it over to him and let him explain.
The bill came up as a special order of the day because it was deferred at our last meeting with a potential 3-3 tie and one member being out. And I also asked for the deferral because I needed to check with ethics on a potential conflict. Ethics was not able to provide me an opinion, and they're not having a meeting in August. So they're not meeting again until September, and they said it might take them 2 months. So when I talked to Chair about how it might be over 2 months, it just made more sense to just receive this bill at this time. So receipt typically kills the bill. So if the bill will be considered again, it will have to be reintroduced. And I possibly may do that in the next term if I'm fortunate enough to be on the council again next term. And it was basically a residential workforce housing credit bill.
I do want to, just because when the public hears the conflict of interest, sometimes it comes across as a negative.
It's an abundance of caution.
Correct.
I mean, because
I did want to share that Mr. Kualii does a lot of work in the community for Native Hawaiians. And because this bill may have an impact on housing credits across all demographics, Mr. Kualii, in an abundance of caution, decided to go before ethics and seek their opinion on whether or not he has to recuse himself. So I personally want to say thank you for doing that. But I just wanted to make sure it's not as if you're this bill will make you money, because when people hear conflict of interest, that's what goes in your head. So
it's all about housing for our people. So
correct. So thank you.
And that's how I'm motivated as the chair of the housing committee.
Absolutely, and you do great work. You do great work. We had, whenever the county, there's a law that requires governments to maintain records for 7 years. And whenever the county, any department or any part of the administration, or for the council office for that matter, reaches that 7 years or 8 years or whatever it may be, and they want to destroy records that are no longer needed, they need council approval. So we did have that, and obviously the documents that the request was made for were obviously no longer needed, and that was approved. We also had a very lively discussion on the next item, which was the Office of Economic Development applying for a $400,000 grant from the state energy office and the Ulupono initiative, basically to replace electric vehicle chargers in the county. And Mr. Kualii, you
the United States Department of Transportation, Federal Highway Administration Charging and Funding Infrastructure Discretionary Grant Program. So it'll be the longest name for a grant that I've heard, but it's basically federal funds that are available for this particular purpose.
Right. It funnels through the state, and then we apply. And as I said on the floor yesterday, really commending our Office of Economic Development, our energy coordinator, because when these funds become available, it's a very competitive process and it's a timely process. So
and our people over at Office of Economic Development, they seem to be leading the way in the state of Hawaii. So they're jumping on it. They're getting in a grant prior to the other counties. Because I had asked too if we'd be competing with the other counties, and it's like, well, we're going first.
Yeah, and hopefully we get that grant and we'll be able to replace some of the chargers in our county, across the county building at the old Big Save area. And these chargers would be for not only our county electric vehicles, but also for our public. So they
the amount that they have now is insufficient for our fleet, so they're converting some of the ones that was currently available to the public to the fleet, and then adding these new ones for the public.
There was a lot of discussion about electric vehicles, and that's the direction that the government is heading, and the country, the world is heading, because of obviously environmental issues. So one of the bigger obstacles for our people here on Kauai to owning an electric vehicle By the way, last night I went online and looked up some electric vehicles.
You still saw the
very-
$7,500 credit?
Yeah,
Or?
$7,500 electric vehicle credit if you're interested. But one of the obstacles is the lack of charging stations. So if you're on the road a lot, you got to make sure you plan your day and you get to a charger. So the more charges we get, the more of an incentive it is for us people to go out and purchase these cars. It is good for the environment. And I shared yesterday, I've ridden in many electric vehicles in the Uber and Lyft area when we travel, and I was quite impressed with the performance of those cars. And we'll see what happens. But mahalos to Office of Economic Development, because whatever we can get in grant money is monies that we don't have to use from our general fund, real property tax money. So awesome. There was also another bill, which was every year we're required to do a financial audit, and the financial audit is done. And this year, because of rising costs, there was a shortfall in what we had allocated. So very simply, we had to put out more money, $70,000. That was the first reading bill, so that's going to go before public hearing. It's one of those things that we don't really have a choice.
Yeah.
When we asked the auditors to do more than we had planned in the beginning of the year, yes, it's going to cost more money, but it's definitely a very important document.
And it's monies we already have in our budget, so we're moving it from within council services.
Right. So that's pretty much it.
Yeah.
I did want to.
Do we have a new bill?
That was it. That was the bill.
Oh, that was all the
Yep,
bill.
That was the
Yeah.
bill. We only had one bill.
That's right.
So I did want to take this opportunity, Mr. Kualii, to share a little frustration, disappointment in the voter turnout and in the primary election. Kauai ended up with a 31% voter turnout, and we got to do better, Kauai. General election is coming up in November. We do have the presidential race, so we expect that number to rise. But if you haven't registered, please register. If you haven't voted, if you didn't vote in the primary, please make it a point to vote in the general, because it just makes democracy better. And I know there's a lot of people that may not have gotten their ballots. They have moved. They didn't fix their registration. So if you didn't get a ballot and you believe you're registered and you didn't get a ballot, please call our elections office and get all the information updated so we can mail you the ballot. And the simplest way is to just, when the ballot comes in your mail, it's probably going to start coming out in October.
Yeah, mid-October.
Just vote and mail it in. It's just that simple.
You got like a 3-week period, and you got this time now to still even get registered. So if you're not registered, get registered and please vote. It's your democracy, you know. It is what you make of it.
Yeah.
We
And it's
need
so
everybody
simple.
voting.
It's the simplest it's ever been. So please, let's try to get that up to 75 or 80%. That's where we should be.
We got the big presidential election too.
Yep.
So
And we're not allowed to talk politics on here, so you guys go make it happen and choose the candidates that you believe should be there. I want to thank again Hoike for allowing us the opportunity to come in every week and do a real quick roundup. This meeting, as well as all of our meetings, can be seen on Hoike Channel 53 or at our county website at www.kauai.gov. Hit the webcast meetings button, and you'll see the list of all of our meetings, and you pick which one you want to watch, and make sure to go check it out. And hoike.org, please go check it out. There's an app, download it to your phone. Now they got on-demand programming. They have like a live podcast. I mean, it's just the improvements that have happened here at this studio is amazing. And I definitely want to thank our friend Roger here for hooking us up and getting us to all of you. So
mahalo, Roger. Mahalo, Hoike.
yeah,
Mahalo, everybody, for tuning in.
yeah. Until next time.
Aloha.
Folks. Aloha.